Good morning and welcome to the Small Business Cheerleader podcast. I'm Nicola Willis from NW Marketing, the Small Business Cheerleader. I'm joined today by Kellyjoy from Perth Partytime and Jellybean Manor. She is a fantastic business owner, two businesses, not just one. And today we're going to talk about being authentic and building an empire on your own terms. So how are you today? And introduce yourself and let us know how you happen to be the CEO of two businesses, not even just one.
Well, my name is Kellyjoy. Hello. And I'm a very greedy clown. I am Jelly Kelly, the face of Perth Partytime. We also DJ and MC, so it's a real all-round entertainment business. And then we have Jellybean Manor. How did I come to have two businesses? Honestly, this whole story is just, it's a big wow story. It started with a brain wave. I call it a brain fart because, you know, I like to have a bit of a giggle. I've got 4 kids. I'm a comedian, so that's how I've survived the trials and tribulations of life. And 9 years ago, I was sat with my children playing as you do. And I heard Jelly Kelly and the Muffins. And I didn't call my business Jelly Kelly and the Muffins. I turned it into Perth Partytime, but the show Jelly Kelly and the Muffins is very, very successful. And it's, you know, one of the top products in that business. And at the same time I started that business, me and my now husband bought an old beach shack and we began a big renovation, which has taken 7 years. And Jellybean Manor has been born. And it wasn't the plan. Every step of the way, I've said something to my husband, like, we could call this place Jellybean Manor. He's gone, it's a bit silly. Or I've said, do you know people pay people to have photo shoots at their house? He's gone, no. And we've now got a thriving business and, you know, we're very much in our own lane. It's very unique. As you can see from behind me, it's a real whimsical, theatrical fantasy house. And it is the film set for our up and coming YouTube show, Jelly Kelly TV.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I've obviously met you through networking events, but to see you online and to build this Jellybean Manor, I've seen that come to fruition over the past, year or so in earnest, and seeing the photo shoots that come out of there and the photographers that are able to use this space has just opened up a whole new world, isn't it? Because your house is literally, the manor is actually a new world for people, and you're able to bring your authenticity and who you are into your house, into the world of others. And I think that is just a joy to share that. And I know your passion is sharing that joy with others, isn't it? And that's how you've come to have these businesses. It's all come to, you know, like the topic we talked about, building an empire based on your terms. And it's always been on your terms. And as you say, you're in your lane. And sometimes it can get a bit lonely, but we want to show people that by owning who you are, you're able to continually build upon an empire that is based on what you love, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be completely authentic and honest with you right now. I have only really just come into that space where I'm owning who I am. So I have been a mum forever. I had kids. I was a mum at 16. I just turned 17 actually when my eldest son was born, and I had 3 babies by 19, and I had a 4th child at 24. I didn't start my business empire until around 6 years ago. And at that time, I was a full-time carer for my eldest son, who's been very, very ill. And that's when I wrote the show, Jelly Kelly and the Muffins. It's all about love. Yeah. And so that show, as I wrote, you know, about being strong, kind, and brave, I didn't realize what I was doing. I was putting together this huge work of love, this huge ball of energy. I honestly feel like something's worked through me. But to go back to, you know, what I'm saying, that I've only just come into the space. I got into the networking industry scene about 2 years ago, and I did a business course. Even though my business was thriving, established, I wanted to learn more marketing, and I felt like a complete duck out of water. And I had all the insecurities come up and all of that chatter, you know, the family of origin, the who do you think you are, and
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, so I'm with all these women and they're all cheerleading and we've got to big ourselves up. And, I can do it when I'm putting a couple of little bit marketing things together and I've got my spiel down packed because I love what I do and I believe in it and I know it works. But take the mask off and it's just me. And I'm like, oh, so it has been really, really only just this very last few months that I have come in to owning who I am. And I've got a little group chat with two of my very best business friends and we call it Biz Babe Cheerleaders. We're each other's cheerleaders. And I said, I feel like I want to cry tears of joy because I actually am starting to really like who I am and believe in myself. Yeah. So that's me being authentic because, you look at me on social media and I am a very out there person. I am confident when I'm doing what I do, but behind the scenes, there's another side of me, I'm not so, woo, I've got stuff I've been going through, so it's been a challenge.
And I think that's it, the challenge. People need to understand that, well, I think we're starting to now, that the highlight reel is not real and that there is always support needed behind the scenes from friends, business friends in particular. If you can find a tribe that will support you through whatever you're going through, because it can also happen in seasons. Sometimes you're completely on top of everything and you're feeling like you could do anything. Yeah. And then something happens in either your personal life or your business life that just takes you down 3 pegs, and you need those people. Come on, I've seen you do it, you can do it, all that stuff, because it doesn't take much to knock it. And then that imposter syndrome that's sitting here starts coming to the forefront again. And even everything we've got to do is a lot as it is.
Or even, sorry to butt in, when you give each other the permission to take a break.
Yeah.
Because you see each other burning out and you're like, babe, the world is not going to stop turning. We'll be here. Take a break. You need that from each other, you really
it's
do.
100%. And just as a side point, I remember when I had my kids quite close together as you did, I remember I was trying to work at the same time and trying to take one to kindy and one to school, and they had half days and all this stuff, trying to squeeze in work in between. And my girlfriends, my mother's group girlfriends at that stage, took me aside and said, you know what, this has to stop. This has to stop. We're watching you burn yourself out, and this has to stop. I remember they took me to McDonald's for coffee at night time because all the kids were asleep, and said, this has to stop. So I had to give half of the work I was doing consulting to somebody else. And I had to just go back to a baseline of just, looking after myself, because this is what happens. We get into our own space of got to go, and other people can sometimes see what you can't. So you're right, finding those people that can be honest enough, not just cheerleading, because cheerleading's fine, but if people are not being honest with what they see, because you can pump people up enough as you want, but if you're not saying, look, maybe you need to go back to work part-time and support your business instead of having no money and stressing. Perhaps you need that instead of, you go girl, you've got this.
Yeah.
Then you really see it's not, mental health is not a priority there.
Yeah. And that's the authenticity, isn't it? That's the really getting to know each other. And that takes time, we're all so busy. How do you build friendships and business connections and learn everything and do it all and be a woman? And, we're talking about like these life changes and hello, perimenopause.
I hear you. Yes,
so that's a little side note that I'm currently dealing with.
I've realized nobody tells you about perimenopause.
Nobody tells you about perimenopause.
I'm 49 this year. Nobody tells you about that until it happens to you. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's probably for about 8 to 10 years before menopause. And I remember my husband going, what? No one told me about that. I thought it was just menopause. So this is the stuff that as business owners, you change again. It's another season of your own life. Your kids are gone and they're older. And now you've got other, so I think the more you can find your tribe, the more you can be authentic with them and honest, and the more you can help them get through whatever they're going through. I think that's invaluable, finding those people.
Yeah, I've worked really hard. So that's really what I've been doing for the last 2 years. I was in my lane, building my business, and I decided I need to make some friends, or I need to learn some marketing strategies. I need to come into this zone. And I just didn't really know what it was because I've not been a business owner before. And yes, it's been a whole new world. So
Yes.
it took me a couple of years, and now I can say I've got some really great friends. I really have. They're very important to me.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And that is definitely something to take away, because business can be lonely, especially running businesses from home.
Yeah.
And we know that a lot of people use co-working spaces to find that vibe, or they have masterminds or girlfriends that they can check in with. And I found that when I pivoted from doing shopping center consulting into another world that I hadn't been in when I pivoted during COVID, I had to find my people.
Yeah.
And I didn't have them because they were all shopping center people. So I had to find
Right.
some small business owners, and that's where networking helped me. And again, over the last 3 years, I've been able to form some really good friendships of people who know me and know my journey. And I think that's about it, isn't it? Finding people who know your journey, your history, and know how you've come to be where you are, as opposed to just superficial, hey, I do this, what can I get from you? Some of the networking places, you know, it can be more about, you know, what can we get from each other? Whereas I found the ones I like are the much deeper conversations of just,
Me too.
really, I get a lot more out of that. And I think we're both lucky to have found that in helping us get through. And I just think it's about finding your own people. But now we're going to talk about how owning your differences. You've come to that point of owning your differences and then making that your superpower. And I think a lot of people, that takes a while to get to. That's not just a gift.
Totally takes a while to get to.
You have done the work. So people will look at you and think, wow, she just owns everything that she's about. But that's a process, isn't it?
It's a big process, and I've had to go through a lot of pain, if I'm honest. So you know, there's been the whole success in the business. The business became pretty successful quite fast because we're so different. So I've got, you know, my competitors. I even made friends with my competitors. I got to the point and I thought, who are these people? We've all got the same values, which is teaching kids to be friends and kind. So I contacted them and I was like, hey, so I've got to know my competitors and they're gorgeous, but I'm the only crazy clown. And as I grew to understand that there needs to be something a bit different, I began to own that. And the other stuff that has been very painful that I've had to work through is my mum life. You know, I mean, I work in this industry of children and parents and families. And, you know, behind the scenes, I've got a very unwell son. And there's been so much grieving and, you know, all of that stuff going on. And I've shown up constantly and worked my butt off. And work has been just incredible because it's brought love and joy into my life. But last year, the stress of it all really did get to me, and my other son became ill. So at the same time, now I've got 2 ill boys, and that went on for a period of time last year, and I crashed. My body said, we're over it, we don't like this. And I had to really evaluate the situation and make some huge changes. And I can say that now to you, you know, as a positive woman, but it was a absolute minefield of pain. So if anybody's going through anything and they're caring for ill children, you know, my kids are young adults, but still they're my babies. You know, I was in huge amounts of pain because one of them, we don't know if he'll survive. You know, it's mental health issues, but it's very dark. And I actually had to get to the point last year where I just said to my husband, get me out of here. And we went to Carangini, and that was in November. And I tell you, I went there and I gave myself what I give everybody. So I am the queen of play. That's what I do in my business. It's all about play, the power of play, bonding through play, and the joy of play. And I took myself, my little Kelly, off to Carangini, and I played in the dirt and I played in the mud and I swished around and had a jolly good time. And since then, between now and then, I've had 5 camping holidays, and I have filled my cup. You know, every day I have to fill my cup, but I well and truly poured, and I put boundaries in with the kids. And, you know, because they've got the hospital and the doctors and we've got all this stuff, but I was carrying it all.
As we do. And I think that is what, if anyone can take anything away, I know we have boundaries with clients a lot of the time, they say, but sometimes we have to have the boundaries with our family because it is so intertwined. Anything we're going through with our family comes through to how we show up. And it really is when you can find that boundary of stepping back away instead of carrying everything. It is an emotional charge, but it is finding a way to fill your cup. You know, whatever that looks like for you. Some people, it takes a while to find what that really is, but you found that. And look at the difference in actually being able to find something to fill you up and how that's re-energized you to show up again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had a massive, huge shift just over the last week. You know, huge revelations. Look, I may sound a little bit woo-woo, but I am a true believer in something works through me. If you saw what I did, the people out there that might have come across me might have seen me when I'm Jelly Kelly, and they at first they're shocked. They're like, whoa, and I make the joke like they're overwhelmed by my beauty. But you know, I'm out there. But then when they get the message and they hear, and I'll be honest with you, I'm just going to say it how it is. Everybody gets high. They get high on the love. They get high on the praise. I just beam love, and my shows are just about pure love, and the parents love it and the kids love it. And I can't remember where I was going with that. I just love what I do.
It's all right. We're just talking about filling up cups and how when you have your cup filled, you're more likely also to then project that onto people you're around.
Yes.
You're with, and it just becomes more empowered. Whatever you had, your idea for your business, whatever you had for your idea for how to show up, it just is so much more authentic, and it becomes a vibe. Like you said, people are around you because they know that you have that idea, that concept to really bring love. And I mean, how do you not want that in your life? People are drawn to it because they can feel the authenticity. It's not a show, it's real.
It's real. That's where I was going. I will lay in bed and giggle because I feel like I have been given a message. You know, because it was Jelly Kelly and the muffins, and I had a visual. You know, I'm a very visualizing person, and I saw myself driving a truck, and I saw myself with all the children, and that was 9 years ago, and I didn't do anything with it for 2 years, and then it took me a year to work out what it is. So I recently, just over the last few days, I've had more of that channeling come. And so I really can see the big picture now of where I'm going, the directions and what's unfolding. And, you know, we're the house, Jellybean Manor, is now a film set. So we're recording Jelly Kelly TV, but there's so much more. I'm going to start sharing the information about I'm going to educate people how to start a kids entertainment business. You know, I want to share this gift because it is so good. I'm sure not everybody wants to be a crazy clown, but there will be angles of that. I want to do clown training. You know, I'm going to do some online courses. That's definitely a part of my business growth and the journey. But it's very exciting to finally have the master plan. And just as when I started Perth Partytime, I knew in every cell of my body, this is me, this is what I'm meant to do. This plan that I've got before me, I know exactly this is it. And so it's so exciting.
And that's because you left or allowed space.
Yeah.
I find personally that I used to always, so as an example, I used to always go for my walks and I'd listen to business podcasts. I thought, I'm not wasting half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour walking. I've got to do something to fill that time. And then I got to a stage where I could not take in any more information if I tried. I just could not action anymore, take any more in. So I made that 1 hour time nothing. There was no music. There was no earbuds. There was nothing, just me and the dogs. Oh my God. The amount of stuff that dropped in
Yeah.
that I had never thought of, or the clarity on stuff I was thinking of.
Yep.
I have never seen that. So since then, I never go and listen to podcasts. I do it other times, obviously, but that 1 hour, if you can find whatever that looks, some people hike, some people, go to the gym, some people do stuff, but I think it's allowing you to have that stuff drop in without constantly filling it with other stuff. Do you find that as well?
I do. I try to be an incredibly productive person. I'm very, very fortunate. I I work from home, but it's this beautiful, colourful playhouse. Yeah. So it's filled with this gorgeous energy. And I work predominantly Friday afternoon to Sunday evening. So it's 2.5 days of real, high energy madness. And I've got to the point, I've built the business up that it's not really, for me, my marketing is the word of mouth through the mums. Yeah. It's also the website and the 5-star reviews. So I don't necessarily have to get lost in too much of that anymore. I went through a whole phase where I was thinking, I need to do more on social media, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I filled so much of my space with trying to learn that. And I have to accept that that's just not my, I want to get better at it, and we're about to start YouTube. So I have to get better at things, and I will keep continuing. But I've got more space now to learn this other stuff and for the silence and let it
there has to be silence. I found that it's like, I need this course, I need that, I need to do this, I need to do that. And what I'm finding with clients that are coming to me also, and people I meet at networking events, is the constant need to have, coaches and mentors and things, which are all wonderful, because at different seasons we need that. But then nobody's actioning anything. They're finding the overwhelms coming from, well, now I need to do the thing. Yeah. And it's, how do I do reels? How do I do the mini course? How do I do the website? How do I do the Facebook? Oh my God, I have to do all 5 of those. Where the hell do I find the time? Yeah. And I think that's where the overwhelm's coming. The constant learning is overwhelming because of the doing.
If you think about it, we could have this big, huge list that we could say, to be a business person, you need to do this list every day. And it would be insane trying to do it.
I've had a client that had started a new business designing websites, and she had just left her job and was trying to find clients. And after going through, she had no Instagram, no Facebook, no nothing. She had a website because, of course, she designs them. But she said, I have to do all this. Like, nobody told me that. Like, that's like a full-time job. And, so she was, feeling disempowered, and like, well, nobody tells you that the actual doing is like a full-time job. So it's like, how do you manage people's expectations and bring them back to making it what they love, but allowing them to build their business in a way that's sustainable? And I think at the moment, the overwhelm is way too high. And people just need to sometimes get back to not the shoulds, but the wants, because the should list is huge. I should do this, I should do that, I should do this. And people go to bed at night thinking, oh my God, I haven't done this, and this. So I tend to work with clients on, taking that should list and making it manageable and helping them into an actionable, because otherwise, wow, there's a mental health issue there in regards to the should list. And if I could burn that should list, I certainly would, for many things.
I generally give people the advice of just keep it simple. Keep it simple, and just, if you're in the beginning stages of this business, just do a little something every day. Yeah. Because you'll enjoy it and your passion will come up, and that will shine through. Yeah. By the time you've got a successful business and you've got your emails that you've got to answer, and you're used to how you've got a strategy for getting through them and how you do your calls and when you schedule it in. But that takes time to build up your processes before you don't feel overwhelmed, because it just becomes your norm. But in the beginning, just do a little something every day. And I know some coaches will go, oh, I'll never get anywhere if you do a little something every day. But that's how I've done it. So
Yeah.
when I started my party business, I actually had a cleaning business on the side.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I cleaned people's houses. I am not ashamed of that. I love cleaning. I'm a high energy person. And I used the money to get my business started. So
And I agree. And there's lots of coaches out there, you know, like you've got to go all in and give it you know, you've got to go all in, otherwise it doesn't work. And a lot of these people get burned out. They don't have any money and it becomes an issue. I have a client I'm working with at the moment. She's trying to build up a startup business, but you know, she's like, well, I don't have the money to keep doing all these things that everyone wants me to do. I said, just show up every day. Just show up every day as you and do a 90-day plan with 3 little things. What 3 things do you want to try and do in the next 90 days? And do those.
And it's the outsourcing as well, isn't it? People give you that advice, outsource. And in the beginning, how do you outsource things and make any money? You can't do that.
She said, I'm making $650 a week at the moment trying to build this up. Where am I going to find all this money to outsource all this stuff? And the time with 2 little babies. Just do 3 things and just concentrate on those. And then you feel like you're getting somewhere. Yeah. I'm sick of these should listers where people are like, I need to know how to do that and this and that, and then they burn out. So it's just a nemesis of mine that I try and work hard on bringing people back into just concentrate on 3 things. And then if I can help you do those 3 things and teach you how to do them, great. That's even better, because this whole trying to figure it out yourself thing in startup stage is really hard. And so you've been there, I've been there. And I think, like you said, you know, just show up and be yourself and start on the little things and look where you are now. I mean, gosh, you've got an empire. But like we said at the beginning, it's an empire built on your own terms. You know, how do I want to run this? How do I want to show up? How and what level of input do I want to put to get where I want to get? And that's amazing. And I think, what would be any tips that besides working on something small every day that you've learned now, especially now you've had more the epiphany on you know, how you see the bigger picture going? What would you have said to yourself when you started out? Is there anything different?
Oh, what would I have said to myself? Okay, I've tried lots of different things. So I have followed the pack, and you know, in my industry, we have princesses and, you know, we have this kind of stuff. And so I have followed the pack. At one point, I've said, I'm going to grow and I'm going to do it this way and I'm going to have staff. And I did that for a certain amount of time. And good staff are hard to find. I did have, I had some beautiful teams, but there was a point, and it was fabulous earning all that money because people were working for me and I was like, oh, I've just got some money and I didn't even go anywhere. But for me, you know, we had a moment where everybody was sick and I was running around trying to put all the fires out. But also I realized if I am not performing, I lose a lot of my joy. And I had to weigh up, you know, more money, less joy, more stress. And so I looked at that and I thought, this isn't what I want. And, you know, a lot of people in the business industry, if I was to go to a coach, I know that would, you know, and I said, I want to earn more money, that would be their advice. You need staff. And no, I don't. Because again, I'm doing my own thing. I'm about to start filming my own kids' YouTube show. And we have turned our house into a photo shoot location. You know, I've turned it on its head and gone, right, how can I make some, you know, other income streams? And
again, on your terms.
On my terms.
Lights you up.
I didn't want to have staff. I didn't want to go down that route. I didn't like it. I tried it. I gave it a really good shot for a good 18 months. And I just said, no, it's not for me.
Oh, see, you're preaching to the converted here. I did the same thing. I just happened to get really busy because I was really good at what I did, and I just happened to get more and more clients. So back when I was doing just my consulting for shopping centers, and I was like, well, I need people to help me. I can't do all this. And then I started getting people, and to help me, I got busier and I started getting people. Before I know it, I have a team of 5. And just because your income goes up, it also means that your expenses go up and your problems are huge. And then you're managing people's expectations and staff, and your litigation goes up because you have contracts and
you're a therapist.
And you're literally managing people's expectations of their career and their jobs. And I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. I just was a consultant who was really good at what she did. So when COVID hit, that was my chance when I realized that it wasn't meant to be, because a lot of those clients took their work in-house, which made the decision for me. So I went back into doing what lit me up, and I realized, I actually do enjoy like just being me and going back. So I made that choice. I didn't want to, because they'll say, coaches will say the one-to-many model is where to go, like how can you get one-to-many, which is fantastic for a lot of people that love that. But if it's not your vibe, and I tried to launch a group program and I had to stop it midway through, I didn't like it. I didn't want it, but I thought I had to do it. The should got me. Yeah. And I was like, halfway through, I went, I'm a projector in human design, and this whole vibe of launching and group I don't want it. So I stopped it because I can. It's my choice.
Yeah, so your business. It's your lane.
Like, it's me who's doing this. I can stop it. I don't have to do anything. So so I pulled it halfway through. I just don't want it. And I just decided to go on the things that lit me up instead of the shoulds. So as I said before, if I could burn the should list, I would. So to me, it was like, no, okay, what do you really want to do? What impact do you want to have? And how do you want to run your business to make money? So that's the route I went down. But exactly. We've been there, we've tried it, wasn't us. Now you've got to find a way that makes you happy. And I think if that's a rule for someone, try not to get caught into someone else's structure, because it might not be for you. Take the bits that work for you, make sure that you implement what you need, and then you make it your own, because just doing cookie cutter templates of other people's business structure is a recipe for you being unhappy. Because it worked for them doesn't mean it works for you. They might be a manifesting generator in human design and just go, offers, madness. And you're a projector like me, where you sit back and you project your knowledge and you wait for people to come to you, because that's how your energy is. The more knowledge you have based around how you work, whether it's woo-woo, whether it's human design, whether it's personality, how you figure out how you work, the more knowledge around that. As soon as I figured out that sort of energetics, changed me, how I showed up.
I actually haven't done any of that stuff. So I haven't looked into any of that stuff. I have been just so busy building my products, and we renovated the house. So, if you look at the pictures and stuff, Glenn and I actually built this with our own hands. It was an old beach shack. I have mixed cement and all the painting and stuff. So I've just been physical work. And learning. And mum life.
I know.
I know I'm a spiritual person. Like but
I think you're very in tune though with your energetics.
I am.
As I said, however that looks for you, you're very in tune with what feels right. A lot of people are not. Right. And they tend to push it up a hill, as I say, continually trying to push it up a hill when they're not in tune with what really works for them.
They don't know who they are yet and what it is.
Or what burns them out. As I'm saying, there's different types of people with their energetics. Some can go so hard and not worry them, others can't. So for you to compare yourself with someone who does is just a recipe for disaster. So either, if you're not sure how that is, explore that somewhere, or just really listen. The intuition is where it comes to, I think, in the end, whether you're woo-woo or not, because I'm very not woo-woo, but I'm very much over the past years leaning into energetics and how I show up, because I'm sick of being burnt out trying to compete with a model that is not for me. So that's something that I think is worth looking into if you haven't already. Where do you sit on that regards? And human design is a fantastic way to just dip your toe in, and just say, oh, okay, well, maybe I do need to step back a bit and look at what I need to do. Or maybe, that does feel right. I am push. It's very hard. So I think that overall you have owned your journey. You have found a way to find your people. And you have found how a difference is your superpower, because you actually have leaned into that. And that, I think, is something people need to take. The cookie cutter approach doesn't work anymore. What is your difference? What is your superpower? And how can you impact others with that? I think that is the way forward, because I think everyone's overwhelmed. So if you can find what it is you love and just do more of that to make your business successful, and you've built that, and you're building more. And I think that is an inspiration to others, that you don't have to follow the pack to be successful in business, but you have to work hard. You didn't do all of this.
I have worked very hard.
Yeah, don't take this as any way of you have not worked for this. And this is years of working on yourself and your business and making sure that you're aligned. It does take work. So people who think that small business is easy should have their heads read for a start.
I think really as well, you know, people need to find something they're passionate about. And that's a real passion. It can't be a bit of a passion. It's got to, because when it gets bad, when it gets tough, when you are lonely, when you are burnt out, you only come back again because of the fire in the belly comes back. And so it's about passion, isn't it? And for me, it's really about love. I just want to
because that is who you are. And for me, I just hate, I've seen in my shopping centre world for 25 years, shopping centre retailers struggle, divorce, suicide, ghost loans of $200,000-$300,000 that destroy families. And that's my why. Helping people get clarity so they don't end up in that situation. So it's whatever drives you, because at times it's shit being a small business owner. It really is. So if you're passionate enough, you will get up again and keep going. But it is hard. But the more you lean into the more you lean into building a business you love, it's that little bit easier to keep going. And I think that's what everyone needs to. That's why I do a lot of work on why. Your vision, your mission, and core values, because only from that can you build offers that mean more to you and can attract aligned clients. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, why would anyone else care?
No.
And I think that's an important fact. Right. The main thing now is I want everyone to know how to find you, because if they want Perth Partytime, if they want Jellybean Manor to do photography, and if they obviously later on want to do the YouTube channel, how do they find all this stuff? Let people know where to find you.
Yes, well, we're on Instagram and Facebook, and we also have a website. So it's Perth Partytime. Or Jellybean Manor. So Jellybean's all one word, and I think you'll recognize us when you get there. So we've got fantastic websites.
I bet. And I mean, your photos and your socials are amazing. So especially for Jellybean Manor, and just seeing the colors and the photography that people do.
You have to come around for a cup of tea or coffee.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I never leave. I'd be doing selfies like 24/7 trying to get as much color in my background as I could, because my office has none. So having color would be awesome. So I'll put all those links in the description in the show notes as well. But obviously people can find you and Google if they need to know more about you. And obviously you're a queen when it comes to all of the party stuff. So if people are looking for that, but if you're looking for photo locations or anything to do with an awesome venue, then Jellybean Manor.
Yes, if you've got a photographer, just send your photographer in our direction, or you can email us personally. We are open regularly. We do get quite booked up these days. It's sort of gone boom and took off, which is fab. But plenty of space for new people.
Awesome. Well, it's been amazing talking, because your story is one of just pure joy in the fact of love and family and business, and just how the hell you put all that together. And I think for anyone who's in startup phase, you're an amazing example of resilience. And I think that we all need someone to look up to, or just to talk to. I mean, if people DM you and they're just like, hey,
I'm so friendly, honestly.
I know you are.
I don't turn people away.
No, I think it's that thing of just being able to know that someone's been through really hard shit and come out the other side. I think it's always inspirational, whatever they may be. Everyone's got their story. So I appreciate you telling yours today. And everyone go check Kelly out, and we will I'll see you at the next networking event. But yeah, it's been great to
Yay!
have you on the podcast, and take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See ya.